Everybody, welcome to the Monday Night Success Zone team call. We have 155 people on. We should have 355 people on, but I appreciate you 155 that have gotten on there. You guys should all text one more person and get somebody else on because I promise you tonight, this is going to be one of the best calls we ever had. Greg Wood has only been with us for a few months. He has a background in the business. He's worked for a couple other places, and he was overworked and underpaid, and he saw the light of FFL, and he said, you know what? I'm going to get started. And he was fortunate enough to start with Ali Khalid, who is an absolute savage
Yeah.
when it comes to selling insurance over the phone. Um, and so they've been an incredible team and they're doing amazing things. And I'm really excited for you guys to hear Greg's story. So, Greg, how are you doing?
I'm doing phenomenal. Thank you for having me too. It's an honor to be here.
Well, I'm excited. If I could, we'd have you on every week. But
You were making the introduction, and I said, "Wait a minute! I thought I was speaking today." So thank you, Trey, for for those kind words. I appreciate you.
well, for those that don't know you, Greg, just tell us a little bit about your background and how you found FFL, and then we're going to jump into the nuts and bolts and the brass tacks of this, okay?
Yeah, yeah. So I do have a little bit of a sales background. I got into life insurance. I'll fast forward to that, because I was looking for something I could do remotely because my youngest son was playing college baseball and we didn't know where he was going to end up, whether it was out here on the West Coast in California or on the East Coast somewhere. So I said, I need to find something that I can do remotely if we need to pick up and leave and be with him for the first year or so. He ended up staying here in California. I ended up connecting with Ali Khalid and did some research on him before I joined his team and basically took a page out of his book, which is just copy and paste. Success leaves clues. So if you want to be successful, you do what successful people have done. And Ali and Connor Dorsey have been great mentors and a great team to be with. So I've just been showing up and being consistent and following their lead.
Well, I love it. And so what's interesting is me and Greg live 40 minutes away from each other, and we met for the first time in Kentucky. We flew across the country to meet each other. What's the most you've issued so far in a month with us, Greg?
I would say a little over 60,000. Yeah,
Yep,
almost
that
almost
sounds right to me.
70,000 in 1 month, which if you would have told me that when I first started with Ali, I said, boy, if I can get to 30,000, I know I can put the work in. But if I can get to 30,000, man, I'll be over the moon. And then I hit 30 and then I said, well, 40 is not that far off. And then I hit 40 and I said, well, 50 is not too far off. So you just keep, moving the goalposts. But yeah, just excited.
And then that's been since when? When did you start with FFL?
I started at the very beginning when I joined Ali's team. The exact date was December 6th. Uh,
Nice.
December 6th, I joined the team and I shadowed Ali and Connor and, followed their lead. I knew I could put the work in. And really that I wish there was a major secret recipe, but as we all know, showing up is 90% of the job. So if you show up and make the calls and if you dial, I come as Trey was mentioning earlier, I come from AIL. So a lot of you have probably heard about, American Income. And I talk about age leads. My age leads were anywhere between 6 months to 24 months old. So I was dialing 300 to 500, dials a day for people to tell me, go fly a kite, go pound sand. I went one day and made 258 calls and closed the deal on the 259th call with nobody picking up the phone. So I have the work ethic. I'm grateful for them that they opened my eyes to say, hey, you got to dial. And so I just put that to work with a great team and a great system. And I mean, the numbers speak for themselves.
Well, I love that. So let's talk about the work. Now, your schedule. So there's two things that happen, Greg. Like a lot of people, what they do is they use their family as an excuse. And if there's anything I know about you, you are a family man. You don't
Yeah,
miss family stuff. That's your
yeah,
deal. That's what you
yeah,
do.
yeah.
And in fact, I admire you greatly for it. But you also put in an insidious amount of effort. So give us an idea of what your weekly workload looks like. When do you start? When do you finish? What do you call it when it's a successful day? When do you know it's okay to stop?
Yeah.
What's all that stuff look like?
Every day I have a routine. I'm a systematic person, so I have a routine that I wake up at a certain time, get ready. My day starts because I'm here on the West Coast. As we all know, the majority of our carriers and or clients might be on the East Coast. So my day starts at around 6 a.m. here West Coast time. And the beauty is that I start my day on the West Coast or on the East Coast. I end it on the West Coast. So I work from 6 to 6. And that's I pray every day for a productive day. Not every day has to result in a sale. I don't want to be busy. I want to be productive. So if I can have a productive day, whether that means making 2 or 3 sales in a day, or whether that means saving a policy, whether that means getting a referral, taking care of clients, getting things done, I like to start early in the morning to get all of my administrative work done. I don't, granted, we all have to make calls to the carriers sometimes during the day, but I try to make sure I get up first thing in the morning and get that work out of the way, because that will impede my ability to make calls. And I can use that as an excuse. We can all use that as an excuse. Oh, I had a great day today. I called all these carriers, and we all know you can be on hold with Americo or Mutual of Omaha for 30, 40 minutes. That to me is not a productive day. A productive day is if I'm having conversations, and every conversation I have, if it's a good one or a bad one, it's leading that much closer to a sale. So that's how I look at it. My day is over when the clients are done. Granted, I can't call a client on the East Coast at 10 o'clock at night, but if I'm lucky enough to have a few clients in Hawaii, which I do, I'll be up till 8, 9, 10 o'clock, if it works for their schedule. So I work around my client's schedule, and work from 6 to 6 pretty much Monday through Saturday.
Okay, I love that. That's a great answer. So, um, talk to us about uh your presentation and how many appointments. So are you focused on how much you're dialing? Are you focused on how many people you're actually talking to every day? What are
Yeah.
some of those numbers, and how do you measure the success?
There's always, I have some preset appointments, and then I have a ton of follow-ups, and then I have leads that I call. So I really focus on trying to have as many conversations as possible. As you've been doing this for a while, you start to get a little bit more proficient at being able to tell who's there kicking the tires and just looking for a quote machine, and who's really serious about putting some protection in place for their family. So I really try to focus on quality conversations with folks, and trying to get to the bottom of what their needs are, and focus all of my efforts on that, make them feel special. Obviously doing telesales, you have to have a personality. And so I focus a lot on really taking my clients by the hand. If I had to describe it, it would be meeting my clients. I've got clients that sound like they just got out of bed. And so I'll start off slow, and have a lower tone of voice and meet them where they're at. And then I'll try to bring them up to where I'm at, because I don't want to have a full conversation with, well, yes, Mr. Johnson, I can understand how you feel about that. I start there and then I bring them up. So, try to really break the ice with a little bit of humor, but really bringing them into, where I'm at as far as my energy level, and then really getting to the pain point, why they filled out the form, why they requested the information. Obviously, they want to protect some family members. And as I like to say, I tell a lot of my veterans, your life insurance is the last love note you're going to leave your family, because that's what it's about. It's not about, you need life insurance. It's that your family needs it when you're not going to be there. So it's the last love note you're going to leave them.
Amen to that. Now, what's interesting is you kind of break the mold in a lot of ways, because the first time I met you, I heard you dial, I heard you make sales, and it's not the stuff I saw in the video, because you use your personality and you're super, like, you're just you.
Yeah.
Um, so I want to do some role playing so people got to hear that. So I'll throw some objections and things at you, but because you do a great job of handling the stuff that people get every single day. Um, but the first thing I want to do is just kind of go through the introduction to the call and have you break that down for us and why you say certain things. So,
Yeah.
so pretend I'm a veteran. I'm 71. Um, I take blood pressure and cholesterol meds, and other than that, I'm pretty healthy. Give me a call.
Gotcha. All right. Hello, Mr. Honeycutt.
Hello.
Hey, this is Greg. I'm a liaison with the VA. How are you doing today, sir?
Oh, I'm doing pretty good. How you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. Thank you for asking. I was giving you a buzz because you had requested some information on life insurance options for veterans. Does that ring a bell?
Yes.
All right, awesome, awesome. So let me go over some of the basic information that I have on you. I do show that you're currently 71 years of age. Is that correct? You haven't gotten any older on me, have you?
Nope.
All right. And it looks like you're in the state of California.
Yes.
All right. And you served in the Navy. Is that correct?
I was in the Marines.
Marine. Uh-oh,
I
uh-oh.
can
Don't shoot
I can
me.
only I can only role play so much.
Well, thank you for your service, sir. We really appreciate you. Thank you for your service.
Thank you.
Right. And now, do you currently have coverage in place now that you're looking to add to, or were you looking to kind of explore your options on getting some coverage for the first time for your family?
I got a little bit of coverage.
Okay, is that not enough for you? You looking at a little bit more to leave a little bit of a legacy behind?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Okay, all right. Well, that gives me at least a starting point. And do you have a budget in mind that you would want to work with, or are you kind of just open to see what your options are?
Well, I thought it was free.
I wish, right? There's no such thing as a free lunch. The conversation is free, but the life insurance is going to cost you. But at the same time, what I look at is the value that it's going to bring for your family, right? So if we're looking to provide some peace of mind protection, that's what I want to be able to help you out with. That way, if anything, God forbid, happens to you, your family's going to be protected. Is that one of the things that you're looking to accomplish?
Yes, that
Okay.
is what I'm looking to accomplish.
So my job is, I have access to over 50 A-rated carriers across the country. My job is to find a carrier that's going to provide you with the most amount of coverage for the lowest premium. So I want to find something that's not only going to fit your needs, but that's also going to fit your budget. Does that sound fair to you?
Yes. Yeah,
Okay.
that's fair.
All right. So there's no physical or medical required. Thank goodness. No one's going to come to your house and take blood or urine or ask you to get on a scale. But I do need to ask you some basic health questions just to see which carrier is going to provide you with the most amount of coverage. So let me start with your height and weight. What's your current height and weight, Mr. Honeycutt?
I'm 6'5" and 200 pounds.
That's my dream height and weight. I'm 200 pounds until the dial keeps going. So I do see 200. I do see 200, but it doesn't stop at that point. So God bless you. God bless you for being 71 and being in that great a shape. So any underlying health issues that you've had in the past, heart attack, stroke, any kidney or liver issues?
Nope,
No.
none of that stuff.
Okay. No cancer, diabetes, or COPD or anything like that?
No.
Okay. Wow. Yeah, I forget about being that healthy at 71. I wish I were that healthy today. So God bless you. God bless you. Well, I'm going to take a look at a couple different options for you. Obviously, you are healthy. Now, I will let you know it is a trust but verify system. So the carrier is going to run your medical history, but that's not a problem. It's not like running, we're applying for a home loan or an auto loan. They're just going to run your medical history. All of that is protected by HIPAA. So all of your information is protected. So I won't see anything that pops up there. But if something comes back with one carrier, we just pivot to the next one. So it's not going to be a problem to find you coverage. Again, my goal is to make sure I find you the carrier that's going to give you the most amount of coverage for the lowest premium. Sound good?
Yeah, that's great.
All right, awesome. So let me take a look, and you let me know, Trey, when you're when I stop, or I'll keep going if you want me to.
Just keep going. This is good stuff. This is good stuff.
So what I'm going to take a look.
But we should pause. Let's pause right there. So
Yeah,
hopefully everybody sees this. This is Greg using his personality. It's not robotic. And remember where you left off here, Greg, because obviously there's a script
yeah.
and obviously you learn the basics. But at what point did you morph that from words on a page to make that fit you? Like, how did that process work for you? And
You
then we'll
know,
come back to where you left off.
yeah. It's like a dance. Somebody has to lead, and somebody has to take control. So I like to take control of the conversation and lead
Hey,
the
how are
conversation.
you? Hi.
But
Hold on, we got a mute.
Cameras.
Hold on.
that's okay.
Somebody mute.
Um,
All right, hold
what
on, y'all.
you?
All right, Tony. Hold on, Tony. I can hear you.
Trey, if you hit participants, mute
Oh, thank you.
all, and then check the box that says do not allow to unmute, or check the box that says allow to unmute, and then everybody will get muted. And the Greg he'll have to
Oh, look at you.
There we
Yeah, that
go.
was phenomenal. All right. Well, cool. You learn something every single day.
There we go.
Nice. Thank you. Great. All right. Go ahead, Greg. What were you saying there?
Yeah. So, obviously I have the script as the blueprint. In the beginning, I used to have the script, on the side of me. That way I wouldn't lose track of it. But I just tried to infuse my personality into it and make it more of a conversation. No one wants to have it's not transactional. It's not a you buy insurance, I'm here to take your order type of deal, and then on to the next person. I want to have a conversation with the individual. I want to earn their trust because that's really what they're buying. They're not buying they're buying life insurance, but they're buying you, the individual. And so you've got to build that trust, especially in telesales. They've got to be able to hear that genuine concern. They've got to hear the confidence in you knowing your product, and they're there to be led. So I try to infuse my personality into it. And if they're going to be people that are dry, and don't have a sense of personality, and I'll try to throw in something, but it's got to be the right time to throw in a certain joke, because some people they want to get straight to the chase. And I say, you know what? I can do that too. There's the golden rule of treat people the way you want to be treated. And then there's the platinum rule of treat people the way they want to be treated. And so I try to practice the platinum rule. If somebody just wants to get straight to the chase, I'll say, okay, here's the information, but let's make sure that I'm answering a lot of these questions beforehand, because I don't want it to just be transactional. I'm just not a quoting machine.
Amen to that. Yeah, so okay. So I'm going to give you that objection. And then we'll go back to the presentation where we left off.
Yeah.
But the objection is, well, I was just looking, I just wanted some quotes.
Well, let me ask you this, Mr. Honeycutt. You're 71 years of age, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And I'm just going to take a shot in the dark. Is this the first time you've been looking to get insurance?
No.
Okay. So let me just ask you, so that I know how to better answer your questions and meet your needs. What has prevented you up to this point? Because I know the way you feel about your family has never changed. You want to make sure that they're protected. God forbid something happens to you. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, that's true.
So as you've gotten older, and obviously as we get older, neither one of us are spring chickens anymore. As we get older, premiums get higher. What has prevented you from actually getting that peace of mind protection for you and your family?
Well, that's a good question. I don't know. It's a budget thing, I think, more than anything.
So if I could find something that fits your budget and also meets your needs, is this something that we can actually put in place today? That way you can have it done and have that peace of mind protection that your family's protected.
Yeah, if we could do those things.
Okay.
Yes.
That's my job. Let's get her done. Absolutely.
Okay. Well, I almost bought that from you. That's good. All right, so let's go back to where we left off in the presentation. I threw everybody for a loop there, but where did we leave off before
I remember exactly where we left off. So you're healthy, you're 71 years old, you're 200 pounds, you're 6'5".
Yes.
And you don't have any health issues with the fact that you have hypertension, high blood pressure. So what I'm going to recommend to you is an IUL. I've got it, an IUL. Have you ever heard that term used before?
Yes.
Okay. So you're sort of familiar with how IULs work, or you've just heard the term used before?
Yeah, I'm familiar. So for people don't get confused, he's selling me an IUL because I'm healthy enough to get one of the simplified issue ones, right?
Correct.
So then where do we go from there typically?
Yep.
So I'm like, yeah, you tell me about it. You give me some prices, and then what do we do?
Yep. So from there, I give you the prices. Now, the next step is, obviously, this is all hypothetical. Like I said in the very beginning, it is a trust but verify system. So the carrier will need to run your medical history. But based on what you're telling me, and that's a key thing that I always say, Trey, because I always want to give it an out. Based on what you're telling me, it sounds like you would qualify for this particular product. Now, I will let you know it is reserved for healthy individuals, which again, you should qualify for that. But God forbid something comes back, every carrier's underwriting guidelines are a little bit different. We can either pivot to the next carrier, or we can look at a traditional whole life policy. Either way it goes, my job is to make sure we can get that coverage in place that's going to give you peace of mind, that's going to fit your needs and that's going to fit your budget. So before it's all said and done, I want to make sure that we accomplish those three things. Okay. Now, as I start the application process, I'm going to ask you some basic questions. I've already got your height and weight. I know you're in California. I'll get your address, your social, all that good stuff. But there is one important thing that I need to ask you. The carriers do not accept online banking services like Chime, Green Dot, SoFi, PayPal, Venmo, Apple Pay. So do you have a traditional checking or savings account like a Navy's Federal Credit Union or Chase Bank or Wells Fargo or something like that?
Yes, I do. It's Chase.
Okay, awesome, awesome. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and start the application process. And this should only take about 8 minutes or so. I'm going to know because I get an instant decision from the carrier. It's going to say favorable or not favorable. And that'll let me know, again, because your medical information is protected by HIPAA, that's going to let me know if we can proceed on with the application or if we need to pivot. Again, that's all it's going to tell me. It's not going to give me a breakdown of your prescriptions or your medical history. All of that is protected, but I would know whether it's favorable or not favorable so I can move on to the next part of the application. That sound fair to you?
Yes.
Okay.
That's great.
Awesome. Awesome. So I'm going to start here. I've got your first name and then I go from there.
Okay. So what kind of pushback do you get, Greg? And if you get any, and where do you get it typically?
I can kind of sense right up front whether or not they're serious or not, or whether they're just price shopping. I can tell if they're, I try to bypass that and give them a sense of comfort and knowing. A lot of times I think what we forget is sometimes people need someone to let them know it's okay to make this decision. It's not like you're choosing between, do I want pancakes or waffles for breakfast? You're trying to make sure that you put something in place for your family. So what I'll always do is I'll always revert back to number one. I'm always calling, Mr. or Mrs., Miss, Sir, whatever the case may be. So Mr. Honeycutt. So we're looking to get this coverage in place because you wanted to make sure your grandkids were protected, right? So you wanted to leave a little bit of a legacy behind for them. What are your grandkids' names? I'll get their names. Okay, perfect. So I'll start to incorporate, as we've all seen that in different sales tactics, I'll start to incorporate their name to make it more personable. So that takes the transaction away from it, and that moves it to more of a personable type of decision making, to where this is who I'm doing it for. I need to let them know that when we talk about it and we're talking about insurance, I want them to picture their grandson, their granddaughter, their niece, their nephew, their wife, their husband, whoever it may be. I want them to envision that individual, not necessarily a policy. They can get that from anybody, but you infuse the personality, you infuse the fact that, hey, I'm going to make sure that you're well taken care of. Any questions that you have, I'm here for you to make sure that you're taken care of. And I try to infuse that customer service element with it as well. So the feedback that I normally get, it may be price point. And I'll say, well, what are you looking to do? Are you looking to be cremated? Are you looking to have a traditional funeral? Do you want to leave a legacy? Are you trying to create generational wealth? And then I'll let them know. I always give my clients a back door. You know what? When I bought my first home, it wasn't my dream home, right? I had to get a starter home.
Mhm.
So I have a lot of my clients, and notice my tonality changes, more pauses to create a little bit more drama, if you will. A lot of my clients, they start with a starter policy. So let's, as I like to say, let's get in where you fit in, right? Today, it may be $10,000. You can always add to that later down the line, but it's better to have something in place now than it is to wait until you can get the amount of coverage that you think you want. Let's make sure that we have, because something, I think you would agree, something's better than nothing, right?
Yeah.
And
that way, yeah.
when it's all said and done, Mr. Honeycutt, do you think your family would be better off with or without this coverage?
I think they'd be better off with it.
Okay. So let's start with something that's going to be affordable. You don't want to get in over your head. A lot of times my clients might have champagne dreams with a beer budget. You know what? Some people like beer. Let's start there. Let's start with something that's going to be affordable. I don't want you to go from eating steak to top ramen. Okay. So if we have to take food off the table, we need to reevaluate what your budget is. I want to make sure that it's going to be something that's affordable day in and day out for you. So that's my commitment to you, is to make sure that we find something that's affordable. I just need you to make a commitment to me that you're going to be honest enough to say, hey, that is doable for me. That way we want to make sure that your family's protected. God forbid something happens to you.
Okay, I will be. I'll be honest. That was phenomenal. You know, I wish that I could draw more out of that, but the mistake that people make is they get to the price so fast, and you got me to buy that way before we were. I mean, I bought that,
Yeah,
so I know how much I could spend. So you get it to that, I'm buying from you because
yeah,
I just agreed like 13 times because I don't want ramen, I want steak, and
yeah.
I do like beer if I can't get champagne. Like I'm going through this, and all this stuff makes sense. This is
Yeah,
really good stuff.
yeah, yeah.
Um, okay, so what do you say when somebody says they need to talk to their wife?
That, I love those questions, because the first thing I say, number one, I should have done my due diligence, right? So that's a constant reminder to me where I dropped the ball, right? So if I don't ask up front, if I see that there's a spouse or something like that, is this a decision that you and your wife need to make together? Because if so, let's go ahead and reschedule the call to where you're both available. That way I can answer both of your questions. Because if your wife is anything like mine, she's going to have questions. So I want to make sure that I'm able to address her questions as well as yours. So whenever that happens, I look at myself and say, Greg, you need to make sure that you don't, the fundamentals don't change. What changes is our attention to the fundamentals. So I reevaluate myself and say, that was my bad. That's number one. That's a reminder to me that, okay, I could have screwed the pooch on this one. But moving forward, I need to talk to my wife. Outstanding. So that I'm better prepared for when we speak next. What is it that you need to talk to her about? Is it really going over the budget? Is it the amount of coverage that you're looking at? That way I can better prepare myself that what is it that you need to talk to your wife about? And I'll try to get them to, the longer I can get them to talk, the more I can say, well, right now, and I'll use this every now and again, and I know we probably all do. Right now, we're talking hypothetical, Mr. Honeycutt, because the reality is, I don't know if you're going to get approved. So
Right.
what I would recommend is let's start the application process. Let's see if you get approved. That way, if you are approved, at least you know what you're talking to your wife about, right? Because if I tell you 50,000 is going to cost you $85 a month, and then they run your medical history, and we have to go back and try to put the toothpaste back in the tube, we're both going to be in a doghouse. So let's see if you get qualified first, and then we can go through the process of finding out what if there are any adjustments. The carrier's going to let me know right then and there what that adjustment may be to the premium. Once I get them to that point, Trey, my job now is to get them all the way. Obviously, if I can get them to start the application process, I'm not going to say, oh, okay, well, yep, you're approved. How does Wednesday look? No. Hey, we've come this far. Let's go ahead. You were already talking about the fact that you don't get paid until the 1st or the 3rd of the month, which is just like a week and a half, 2 weeks away. Let's go ahead and put the application in. If you want to add more coverage, as long as we do it 3 to 5 days beforehand, and your wife says, hey, I want to have more coverage in place because we want to make sure bills are taken care of, the mortgages can get paid, and those things are satisfied, we can up the coverage amount. But I doubt your wife is going to be upset with you if you say, babe, I got some life insurance to make sure that if I'm not here, you can still go on without me without having to stress about, final expenses and paying the mortgage and taking care of the kids. I doubt she's going to give you a hard time about putting her first, because that's really what you're doing, is putting your family first. So I try to get them to the application process and then get them to understand the value of, we've come this far, we might as well finish it. And then if your wife has questions, let's get on the line, and we can make any adjustments we need before the policy goes into effect. Now, I can gauge from when I'm having conversations, That's not every single one of my conversations. There are some times where I can gauge to where no matter what I do, no matter how great I think I can present, they're still going to want to talk to their wife. I may not go all the way because I don't want to waste that extra 5 minutes. Even if it takes 5 minutes, I could be on another call with somebody that I'm closing. So it's really kind of a gut feeling of who I think is really serious about it. Because if finishing the application, going through the beneficiary, them getting their routing number and account number and all that stuff takes another 5 to 10 minutes, I could be on my next call. So it's really got to be a gut feeling. But if I feel it's just a matter of getting them over that hump, yeah, I want to push the envelope as far as I can.
I love that. So what are the 3 things that you had to overcome? Really your biggest stumbling block so far. If you were to look back and you had to give advice to a new person, for you, what were those 3 things?
I would say the first one was do not go down the rabbit hole of trying to find out the 35 medications that they're on. That's the carriers. That's their
Yeah.
job, right? Heart attack, stroke, COPD, kidney, liver issues, cancer, the majors. I need to know about the majors so I can dictate which carrier I'm going to go with. You know, prepping the client in advance, because there are a lot of veterans, especially, which is primarily who I work with, their benefits are attached to the medications that they're being prescribed. So one of the other things that I learned very on is I never ask a veteran, what medications are you taking? Because they may have been prescribed 15 and they're taking 2 of them. So I learned right in the beginning, what medications have you been prescribed, whether you're taking them or not? You know, but I don't go down the rabbit hole of here 10 or, oh, I got 15 different medications. I used to, because I was coming from AIL and we had to input all of that. So I had to unlearn that and say, you know what, let me find out the major issues and let the carrier do the rest as far as the algorithm with the medications. Number 2, having a plan B. I need to have an exit strategy. So if I run someone, you know, I always prep them and say, hey, if this carrier doesn't approve you, because every carrier's, you know, underwriting guidelines are a little bit different. Don't get caught up. That's why I don't sell carriers. I sell solutions. My job is to find the right carrier that's going to approve you. That because all the carriers that I work with are all A-rated carriers. So they've been around for 70 plus years. They're going to pay your claim. God forbid something happens to you. So I'm dealing with the best of the best. So my job is to find the one that's going to approve you. So if this one doesn't, no worries. I'll just transpose all that information over to the other application, but we're going to get you covered. We're going to make sure that we get you covered and that we protect your family. And then number 2, you know, I never had this issue, but I see it with a lot of other agents. I don't take it personal. You know, sometimes they'll want to see my credentials. I'll send them my credentials and I'll immediately tell them, I don't blame you. Absolutely. There's so many people getting scammed out there. You're not saying, Greg, I don't trust you. No problem. Let me send you my credentials and you let me know what's a good enough time. I just had this conversation with a gentleman earlier today. He said, okay, send me your credentials. I said, I already texted them to you. That's my digital business card. He said, well, let's talk tomorrow. I said, I need you to do me a favor though. I said, if we talk tomorrow, you said you're going to do your due diligence. I just need to have your commitment that you're going to do your due diligence and check me out, because when I ask for your social and your banking information, if we move forward, I don't want you to get squirrely on me. He said, you know what? That's fair. Let's make it Wednesday. Perfect. As long as that works out best for you. So number 1, I don't go down the rabbit hole of asking all the medications. I let the carriers underwrite. I let the MIB do that. Number 2, I always give myself an exit strategy. And number 3, I don't take it personal. You know, I'm having conversations. If I have a sale, I'm looking for the next sale. If I have a hang up, I'm looking for the next person to have a conversation with. They're not saying they don't. If I had 100 people say no because I love what I do and I know the impact of what we do, that's the key. We're not selling timeshares. You know, we're
Right.
selling solutions. We're selling protection. We're selling peace of mind. I've had death claims already. I know what we're providing for families. I'll take 100 no's to get to the one yes, because I've had people that have been so grateful and so almost to tears with the impact that this is going to make on their family. That's who I do it for. I'll walk through the 99 no's to get to the one yes. I'm good with that. It's not personal. But I know the impact that that one that's going to file that claim when something happens to their husband, wife, or child, I know what that check is going to mean to them. And so that's what drives me. It's not just about a commission. It's not just about a check. It's about really trying to help people find solutions and protect their family and provide peace of mind.
So I greatly appreciate that. And one thing I would share with you guys is this is the kind of stuff that Greg says. Like, like I've heard him say things like that to the client, and I've heard the client say things like, well, thank you so much. And I really like it's a different, not a lot of people do that on the phone, but Greg is definitely mastered it. So this has been an incredible call. Thank you for doing this for us. We will definitely do a part 2 of this. I'm going to get you out to Vegas. We'll do a podcast out there. That's in the works.
You got
And,
it. You got it.
if you guys enjoyed this, if you got something from it, put a 1 in the chat so we can show Greg some love. Thank y'all. Yes, lots. There we go. All right. Well, you guys make it a great week. We are going to have another incredible call next Monday, another special guest. And thanks for jumping on here, Greg. We'll get this out on YouTube, and we'll get the replay to you so you can give it to your team. And I know you're building a team and you're recruiting and you're growing.
Absolutely.
And you guys are doing some awesome things. So thanks for all you do. If there's
Thank
anything
you.
I can do to help, let me know. And we will talk to you all next week. Thanks for jumping on.
You got it. Bye, guys. Thanks again, Trey.
Bye-bye.